At the Euronaval 2022 exhibition, the French naval group presented a model of its new nuclear aircraft carrier, abbreviated as PAN, Porte Avion Nouvelle Generation. In this video, we'll try to understand the reasons why France decided to create such an extremely complex and expensive weapon. Such a decision is usually driven not only by concern for the country's security, but also by political considerations that may prevail over security. This is especially true in the difficult situation in Ukraine, which directly affects the security of the whole of Europe. France currently has one aircraft carrier and a nuclear propulsion system, making it one of the few countries with such high-tech weapons. Compared to Russia, which has a pre-flood Admiral Kuznetsov aircraft carrier launched in 1985, the Charles de Gaulle is a fairly modern vessel, with a displacement of 42,000 tons and the ability to base up to 40 aircraft. On board, you can find a Dassault Rafale fighter jet, which is Europe's best fourth-generation fighter jet. Although the Charles de Gaulle was commissioned in 2000, its average age is about 23 years. According to some experts, the carrier will be obsolete by the mid-30s. By this time, all ambitious programs to develop sixth-generation fighters should be completed. The new generation of U.S. nuclear submarines, the Columbia, should be on combat patrol, and the program to achieve full combat readiness of the U.S. strategic missile GBSD will be completed in 2036. French President Emmanuel Macron has decided to put words into action by installing a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier as the future symbol of French strategic independence, replacing the current Charles de Gaulle. During his speech at the French Nuclear Industrial Corporation Framatome, Macron said that La Creusot plant would produce several major parts of the future aircraft carrier's nuclear reactor and showed a conceptual design at the Euronaval 2022. By doing so, Macron confirms France's desire to maintain its strategic independence. It's clear that France does not intend to build a second Charles de Gaulle. This also applies to the conditional equivalent of the British aircraft carrier Queen Elizabeth, which has no launching catapult and uses F-35B short takeoff and vertical landing fighters. These fighters have a more limited range, 833 kilometers compared to 1,140 kilometers for a full-fledged F-35C, and a lower payload, 6,800 kilograms compared to 8,160 kilograms. On the other hand, the French ship will have 3 electromagnetic launchers of the EMALS type and AAG airborne finishers similar to the latest U.S. aircraft carrier Gerald R. Ford. However, the Porte Avion Nouvelle Generation will be smaller than the American ship. While Gerald Ford's total displacement is 100,000 tons, the French aircraft carrier will have 75,000 tons, which is still almost twice as much as the current Charles de Gaulle. The aircraft carrier is expected to be 300 meters long and 30 meters wide, and it'll be equipped with 2 K-22 nuclear reactors, each with a thermal capacity of 220 megawatts. The ship will be able to reach a full speed of approximately 27 knots and will have a crew of 2,000 people. The aircraft carrier will have one large superstructure and a Thales Seafire radar system with 4 stationary air defense radars on the superstructure. To defend against air attacks, the ship will be equipped with Aster anti-aircraft missiles and several Thales Nexter rapid-fire 40mm artillery systems. Since the aircraft carrier is designed to carry aircraft, the basis of the aviation group will be new generation fighters developed under the Future Combat Air Systems program. The model presented at La Bourget 2019 shows that these manned vehicles are large and can carry a variety of weapons, as well as operational unmanned wings. All in all, the new promising ship can accommodate up to 32 new generation fighters, as well as several Northrop Grumman E-2D Advanced Hawkeye aircraft, helicopters, and UAVs. 2 large elevators will be used to lift planes and helicopters to the deck. The first operational launches are scheduled for 2038. Another interesting detail is that the program director of the French aircraft carrier project, referring to it, indicated that certain decisions in the project were made with the compatibility of the French and American aircraft carriers in mind. France and the United States are the only countries in the world operating nuclear-powered aircraft carriers with catapults and flamethrowers, so they must be compatible. It's also worth mentioning that French Rafale aircraft have already landed and taken off from American aircraft carriers. Therefore, the new Pang aircraft carrier will use American-made electromagnetic catapults used on the Gerald R. Ford-class aircraft carriers. Let's now discuss the significant political implications of the decision to build a new aircraft carrier. Although fleet renewal is important and necessary, it's becoming a very important issue in view of the deteriorating situation in the world, including in Europe. But does France really need a nuclear aircraft carrier with a displacement of 75,000 tons? This would be a super aircraft carrier by modern standards, making France the second country after the United States to have this type of ship. But will France be able to build it? Here we can recall the story of the new nuclear submarine Suffren, which became the main Barracuda-type ship for the French Navy. Launched in 2007, it was handed over to the military only in November 2020. The story with the second ship of the series, which was laid down in 2009, is almost the same. Wouldn't it be more rational to build two smaller aircraft carriers instead of one large one? One of them would always be ready for use, while the other would be undergoing repairs and modernization. Macron's loud statements about the creation of a French super aircraft carrier, which appeared during the French presidential election in April 2022, may indicate that France wants to become great again. European officials are now increasingly talking about the need for a European army after former US President Trump threatened to withdraw from NATO. As the only nuclear power in the EU after Britain left the alliance, France could play a key role in this army. The creation of a new French nuclear-powered aircraft carrier could significantly strengthen France's claim to European leadership. However, it's important not to turn this project into a symbol of excessive spending, as France cannot afford constant delays and unrealistic illusions about the revival of its former greatness. France's desire to become stronger is to be welcomed, as in a world where Putin is awake, strong countries carry more weight in international affairs. Our channel will be following this project and informing our viewers about any significant events related to the French aircraft carrier. If you want to receive interesting military content, subscribe to our channel, and if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up.